Alrighty guys, today we're going to go over a quick video on how to do an edge start on thicker materials. So if you were working with, say, 3/4 inch on a smaller machine like a 65 amp hypertherm, or if you were working with 1 inch or 7/8 inch on an 85 amp hypertherm, then you're going to move into this range of what's called an edge start. And in order to accomplish that utilizing the Art Pro automation platform, you're going to have to do a few things in CAM, and if you have things like this part I'm showing on the screen right now where there's internal profiles, some of those cutters aren't able to do center piercing. So you'll see an option in the Hypertherm manual which designates whether or not it needs an edge start, whether or not it can do center piercing up to that thickness. Generally on a 65 amp machine you get up to 1/2 inch thick material, to cut and do center piercing, and then on an 85 amp machine you're able to, or 5/8 rather on the 65, and then on that 85 amp machine you're able to run up to 3/4 inch material for center piercing so long as you have torch height control. So anyways, we're going to go over how to bring this through to CAM and then to CNC and see what that looks like. So we have a standard part here. We have an external cutout and we have some internals. Now if you are just performing external cutouts, which would mean that you don't have any of these internal holes here, so we could get rid of those. You wouldn't need to worry about doing any type of special setup for those internal cuts. But if you require an edge start for that material, you're going to have to do some extra preparation on that part. So we'll send this over to CAM. Once we get into the CAM screen, as I zoom out here, you'll notice we have the part and we have our outer perimeter. So we can set the outer perimeter of the sheet by clicking this outer frame, and we designated 24 by 24 inches, and our part here is roughly about 5 inch by 5 inch, and we have it selected as mild steel 1 inch. In order to cut this part, what we would want to do is we want to select the lead-in on the outer profile, and we'd want to drag this outer lead-in right to the edge of this outer profile and position it right on the edge. This would allow us to do an edge start, and if we had multiple pieces we would want to position each one of those lead-ins to that position so that it would be able to start and process that cut on the edge. For internal cuts now, so once we get into these center pierces, those ones in this case we would have to do a drilling operation. So if we send this over to CNC, generally what we'd recommend is that you play the program. So if we click play, it starts cutting. You would stop it right when it starts out at the beginning of this cut. So right when it's about to do the touch off, right there. Oh, right there. So right when it's about to do this touch off, I would recommend stopping it, taking a little Sharpie and marking right where the torch is, underneath the torch in the center, and then go ahead and then you can do a jump to line and allow it to run to the next part of the program, and then it'll execute the next motion right there, and then you'd make a mark here with a Sharpie, and you would do this for all these internal cuts. Then you'd be able to move the machine out of the way and you'd be able to physically center punch and drill these holes. Now what we normally recommend is if the machine has a capability to pierce 1/2 inch material, center piercing, and you're cutting say 3/4 inch plate, then you might want to drill down about 1/4 inch and then allow it so that the torch can penetrate through that 1/2 inch. And then what you would do is you go in the CAM screen and you would increase your pierce delay slightly to give it a little bit more dwell time. So right here where it says pierce delay, you might want to bump that up to 1 second or 2 seconds. If the machine starts motion and you notice that it's producing a lot of sparks on the top of the plate, then you'd obviously want to go back and increase this pierce delay setting to make sure that you are getting full penetration before it executes motion. So, but that's pretty much in the Art Pro automation platform. That's what you're going to be dealing with. It's going to be positioning the parts towards the edge of the plate and then go ahead and making sure that those lead-ins start towards the outer profiles. Now you can designate if you wanted to make this instead of an arc lead-in, if you wanted to do say a line lead-in, you can do that. We can check off that feature and it would make it look like this. You can drag this out to here so you're right on the edge. What you want to make sure is that you're not over the edge. If you're over it, let's see, I'm over the edge, and I go ahead and send it to CNC, you're going to see an error message that says you go outside of the machine envelope. If you see that message, it's because you have this lead-in and it's dragged past this profile. So you want to be on that edge, but just on the inside of it. And then notice if I do that and I send it over, it has no issues. So it'll be able to execute that edge dart and cut the profile. So if you have any questions about this, guys, feel free to drop us a line. You can go on our website. You can drop it into the Contact Us area, or you can reach out to support at Squickmon's. If you have video requests, feel free to drop those there as well. And thank you so much for watching, and we're going to keep producing videos. If you have any questions or video requests, like I said, go there, support at Squickmon's, or you can go to Contact Us on our website. We'll see you soon.